Hello there, gorgeous soul. Welcome to day 6, where we're going to focus on authentic discovery beyond conditioning. Okay, so I know that sounds a little bit interesting, a little bit different, but what we're going to really do is we're going to focus on higher awareness for ourselves. So, in this concept, get yourself comfortable, grab your notebook, feel free to pause until you have it and come back to it. But we're going to start connecting on our true self. And this is the part of ourself that exists beyond social conditioning, expectations, and often defined as societal roles. Now, we're going to learn how to move outside of the mold, right? And outside of the shapes of our identity, which consist around others' expectations of us. Now, if you've ever gone through one of my one on one journeys, this is something I really emphasize always as a starting point because this is the core, right? So it's almost transgressional into our childhood regression. And it's also part of a deeper psychological concept called transpersonal psychology, where we're going to actually go back down to the root, down to the core of what others have molded us into, what others have expected of us, and how this has actually created a conditioned self based on external influences. So, if you've ever been in a one-on-one setting with me, you know this is something that we actually dive deeper into. We actually take an entire week to uncover this topic. But for the purpose of this setting together, we're going to touch on the surface. I'm going to give you the tools that you need to expand on your own. And then, of course, I'm always here to support you. We can always go deeper, but within inside of each and every one of us is an authentic self, rooted in our own values, passions, and unique perceptions, whether we realize it yet or not. So, I'm going to give you the tools today where we can talk about this, where we can start to uncover aspects of us. Now, if you've been in a one-on-one setting with me, great. This is still can be used and still can be beneficial for us to re-tap back in this. It's always great to reflect on what we've done and see if there's a deeper layer of our healing, of our self-work and discovery journey to come to the surface for us in our activity today. So what I want us to do is just start to realize that we have an authentic self. And it is the core of who we are. And when we're transcending in our life, in our experiences, and our societal conditioning, this is a source of inner guidance and higher awareness and deeper purpose that we may not be attuned to yet, and we're tuning deeper to, or we might already be on the journey of attuning, and it's great because we want to connect to this deeper purpose, to this higher awareness, and to this greater guidance and experience that we all have internally. So, what's this about? Well, when we align with our true selves, we actually experience a sense of ease, fulfillment, authenticity, and we start to move through life with confidence and clarity. Now, over the last couple of days, you may already start to be experiencing this or remembering it or attuning to it even deeper, depending on where you're at in your journey, right? Everyone's journey is completely different. But on today, we're actually going to connect to the journey of connecting with your true self. So, we're going to start by identifying what matters most to us, which is our core values and our passions. Now, I usually do this through our pillars and our value pillars, right? But we're going to do this a little differently today because these are often our truest expressions of who we are in ourselves. And by aligning our actions and choices with these values, we can actually create a life that feels purposeful and authentic to ourselves. So, as we go through this process, remember that connecting with your true self isn't about reaching some final destination. Those that have been on the journey with me for quite some time now, and again have been in those deeper mentorships with me, know this through and through. It's not about reaching some final destination. It is an ongoing journey and one that we can begin to learn to love about ourselves that requires reflection and honesty and compassion. So, if you're ready, if you're here, let's begin. Now, we're going to dive into an exercise. So, I do want you to grab your notebooks, grab your journals, whatever you may need. And we're going to do a core value and passion mapping. Okay. So, by doing this, we're going to identify our core values and our passions and encourage introspection, right, on what resonates deeper with our true selves. So, first off, we're going to do this by identifying our core values and our passions. Now, these are qualities and principles and pursuits that resonate deeply with who you are, and they can be acts as guideposts. So, if you're hiking, I want you to think about it this way: you're on the journey of life. You're hiking, you're on a trail, right? And you'll know that when you set up these guideposts, you're on the right track, okay? And there are things in life that's going to signal these guideposts that you're going to see them. Okay. So when you're hiking, you see these little stakes and these posts that usually have numbers on them, right? But instead, we're actually going to label ours with words. Okay. So this is going to help us when it comes to navigating life's decisions and challenges and leading ourselves with clarity and confidence. Okay. So we're going to identify these core values. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to set up your guideposts. Okay, so think about this, and you can pause this at any time, but think about what values are most important to you. And I want you to write them down, even if they're just one word. Okay, some simple examples might be integrity, kindness, creativity, adventure, growth, compassion. And the list can go on and on. But I want you to write down the qualities that make you feel most aligned with your true self, your guideposts. Okay. Write down at least, I would say, if you're struggling, 3 to 5. If you really know this and you've got it dialed in and you feel like you're on fire today, write 5 to 10 values that you consider yourself and why they're meaningful to you and how you can reflect on these at your core. Okay. So take your time, pause this, come back when you're ready to move forward with setting up your guideposts, staking them into the ground. All right. Awesome. Once you've considered your values, whether it's 3, 5, 10, 15, however many it may be, and you've considered why each of them are meaningful to you and reflect on who you are at your core, it's time to start exploring passions. Okay. So, next, I want you to think about what truly brings you joy and fulfillment. These could be activities, causes, pursuits. It could be missions that you're on that energize you and excite you. Okay. We're setting up our path for our success. We're setting up our path to our truest potential. So, for example, these might be passions about nature or teaching, like I have for you and displayed to you, writing or art or community service, whatever it may be. I want you to write down 3 to 5 of them and reflect on how these align with your values and how they make you feel when you engage in them. So take your time, come back when you're ready. All right. The next is beginning to map our core values and passions. Now, look at your list and see where your values and your passions intersect. Okay. This might reveal something new about you, something that you didn't quite connect before, and it might be a new connection, or it might even revalidate what you're currently on and what connections you've already made in the past, which is great, right? Which means we are on the path to our true, authentic self. So, for example, if creativity is your core value and writing is your passion, this intersection could highlight a deeper desire to create yourself or meaningful connections with others. Now, in this exercise, I hope you begun to recognize what resonates most with your true authentic self. Not the self that someone else has told you that you needed to be, not the molding and conditioning from your past or what society pressures have put on you, but your true authentic self. What resonated most with your passions and your values, right? Right at that intersection. X marks that spot. And by aligning with these values and passions, you're going to begin to build a life that reflects on who you really are. So, through this, we're going to create the alignment plan. Now, with small, actionable steps to live in harmony with your values and your purpose. Now that you've identified your core values and your passions, let's put them into action. This is probably, if I have to say, the biggest piece that's missing from the spiritual self-help community is putting it into action, right? We all think that now that we know, it's all just going to absorb into us and life's going to be completely different. Well, sorry, but that's not the case. Just like with manifestation, we have to continue to practice the life that we want to live, the manifestation that we want to receive, in order for us to truly embody it and become that part of our experience. Okay. So let's put this into action through the alignment action plan. Now, this will serve as your guide for living in harmony with your true self, for helping you take small but meaningful steps towards a purpose driven life, right? So, anything that we want, we have to not only set the intention behind, but we have to start becoming. Okay, we have to start becoming. And that is why my biggest program is named Becoming Soul, because we're taking all of our awareness, all of our understanding, all of our awakenings, and starting to practice so that we can embody and become them. Right? Makes sense? Yeah, I know. Didn't put that together before, but that's a connection, maybe a little secret on my end that I've spilled over to you guys. It's time to start becoming who we want to be inside of a purpose-driven life. Okay, so how do we do this, right? How? Okay, so it's time to start setting intentions. Make sure you're writing this down, setting intentions. Now, based on your core values and your passions, I want you to write down 2 to 3 intentions that are aligned with living authentically. Now, this can be broad intentions such as I will seek joy and balance in my daily life, and ways that you might do that. Or this could be really specific intentions like I will create and spend more time on creating a purpose in pursuit that fulfills me. Maybe even set aside a time limit, right? Put some structure into that flow. The beautiful part, we're getting off track here a little bit, between the masculine and feminine flow is our masculine is the structure, rocks to our feminine riverbanks, so that we can have both here. We can create structure around our intentions for us to flow in that direction that we want to become and truly embody. So I'm going to give you a few moments to choose some of those intentions and creating actionable steps behind them. So before we get into actionable steps, I want you to pause here and identify and set your intentions. Okay, great. Now that you're back and we're setting actionable steps for each intention, I want you to identify 1 to 2 action steps, okay, that you can take to bring it to life. Now, again, make these realistic and achievable. For example, if your intention is to connect with more nature, this is where we start using our masculine structure around it, where we put in the rocks to our riverbank to flow. Okay, so if your intention is to connect with nature more, a small step might be to take a daily nature walk or even a weekly nature walk, all depending on your speed. If your intention is to be more creative or to nurture your creativity, a small step could be setting aside 30 minutes each day for creative work, whatever that looks like to you. Awesome. Let me know when you're done with setting up your actionable steps. And we're going to get into the next part of this embodiment practice. All right, so the next part is setting up supportive habits. Now, habits, rituals, traditions, whatever you want to refer to them as, is your practice to that embodiment. So, when we set up supportive habits, I want you to think about any habits or routines that you could support your alignment in. Now, these might include journaling or meditating or spending regular time with loved ones, whatever that intention may be. How does it connect? How does it align? And write down 2 to 3 habits inside of each of your intention and alignment action plans. Write down 2 to 3 habits that will keep you connected to your intentions. And then when you're ready, you can come on back for the last 2 parts of our embodiment assignment. All right, so now that you're ready, the next part is tracking and reflecting. So we need to plan check ins with your alignment plan regularly. This is what I like to call reflecting on what feel aligns and adjusting on as needed. As you see, as you practice and you do this consistently and you commit to this for yourself, you will see that there will be adjustments that need to be made, whether you need to pour more into this or you feel like you are starting to become that version of you and you just start making it a regular occurrence. Okay. Now, you might set up reminders for these in check-ins. Okay, so tracking and reflecting check-ins. You might set up reminders to review your intentions, whether it's weekly, monthly, daily, whatever it may be, allowing yourself the flexibility to shift or deepen your focus into your aligned lifestyle that's becoming. Remember, this is a living plan, a way to stay connected with your true self as you move forward. So, as you take these steps, you'll begin to start feeling a sense of harmony and purpose and true alignment in your life, ways that you may have never felt before. So, what I want you to do is set up that commitment to yourself to check in and reflect. And then, when you reflect, you begin to realize that you're living your truth. And a great way to allow this to come to fruition can be journaling on it, to allow the ways that you've embodied your authentic self in your daily life. You can use journal prompts. So I'm going to give you a few of those journal prompts. One of them off the back of this can be, how will I know I'm aligned with my true self? That's a really great journal prompt. So I want you to take the time. Okay? Take the time creating this version of you, this connection of you, a journey inwards towards connecting to your true self. And remember that living in alignment isn't about being perfect or this blissed out state or being completely different. Living in alignment is incredibly achievable through each realistic, actionable steps. It's not about reaching some perfect destination, but it really is about honoring who you are and making choices that feel true to you. So, as you leave here today and you carry forward your values, your passions, your intentions that you've set up for yourself, these are your compass that will guide you towards life, purpose, fulfillment, and authenticity. Knowing that each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to living in harmony with your true self inside of your daily life. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me today. I would love if you want to share your insights with me. I would love for you to do that. Feel free to message me directly. Feel free to reach out inside our Radiant Light Collective community. However it may be, I am here to support you. I would love to know your insights, your alignment plan. And more importantly, may this alignment plan serve as your reminder for your unique purpose and strengths that you will hold within and continue to evolve from as you check in on yourself, trusting that you are enough exactly as you are. Now, if you wish, you can receive the additional worksheet for this to continue on. I would love for you to create your reflections. If you want to come back and share with me in the next weeks and months of how you're doing in this, I would love to receive that as well. And no matter what, we're here. We're going to continue. Thank you so much for joining me for day 6. I look forward for what's in store for you tomorrow. Until then, so much love and light to you, and I'll connect with you really soon.